So we started the year as we do every year with our Go Forward meeting. And in this particular year of the is there a way of me getting a pointer here?
We can see your mouse.
Oh, okay, great. So here, we did decide on quite a few things. We just decided to talk about communication, increase our communication in the Calgary landscape. We decided also that it was long overdue that we needed to rejuvenate the board of the Weaselhead and also to define the roles. And there's a few other things that we decided upon that will be on the next slide. Also, we decided upon putting a lot more activities for people to work with on our website. And so we've actually put a lot of guides and self-work, at-home work resources for students and parents. So that's actually been done. We also had on our slate to update our mission statement, and now our mission statement, it reads as: we will advance and foster environmental learning, experience, and protection and appreciation to support communities that embrace and conserve natural spaces. We have not completed our vision statement yet. That's a work in progress. We also acknowledge that we have neighbors. We live on land that was traditional land of native populations. We're on Treaty 7 region of southern Alberta. So instead of just reading every time we start a meeting and check boxing, yeah, we've done the stuff with the Native people, we are going to make a big effort in everything that we do to include our neighbors, all of our neighbors, the two neighboring communities and the Tsuut'ina, and whoever is interested will be impacted by any of our endeavors. So we promise to do that from this point onwards. That brings us to one of our major events this year, which happened on September 7th during our appreciation picnic. We also had the renaming of the Green Bridge that was built by Barry Erskine about, I don't know how many years ago, 15 years ago. So we had Hal Eagletail give a speech at the unveiling of the plaque. We also had James Erskine, who is the son of Barry Erskine, Mayor Nenshi and Drew Farrell at the unveiling of the plaque, honoring and renaming the bridge to the Barry Erskine Bridge. You have to remember that Barry Erskine was quite instrumental in the creation of the Weaselhead and has always been a big advocate of natural spaces. So this was, and the bridge itself was of his making. When the old bridge got washed out by a flood, he decided we needed a new bridge, and we got a new bridge. COVID, we've all been impacted by it, and so has the Weaselhead. We've had many events this year, and I have to congratulate all of us, all of the people that have worked with us, all of our people that take people in the Weaselhead, all of our activities. Nobody has contracted COVID during any of our events. We wish to continue respecting all of the health measures that the city and the province require of us. And that has had an impact on what we do. So again, I'll bring you back to the page where we were putting home field trips. So this gives you an idea. This is the grade 2 curriculum that exists in English, French, and Mandarin. So this is available to all that log into our website. A donation is appreciated, but a lot of time was spent at creating that. Again, I have to thank our naturalists and everybody who participated in creating this environment for people to continue learning while they could not be taken to the Weaselhead. We had to cancel most of our field trips. We had a few in the fall, but none in the spring because of COVID. So this is an example of one of our field trips. Knapweed is one of the few plants that we had to make sure that we controlled this year, because a lot of our field trips to do plant eradication were canceled. A lot of the people that came and helped us were all under COVID restrictions, but we still had to go and deal with knapweed. It's not affected by COVID, and it grows really fast. So we had to continue our work all within COVID restrictions. Last winter, we had sheep grazing in the north side of the Weaselhead on our bluff to help us with increasing some of the native species, as these would prefer the invasive species to eat. We also participated with we have now a partner called the Mistakis Institute, which is part of the, just a second here. Mistakis Institute Calgary Captured Project. Here is a pileated woodpecker actually getting his picture taken, though he's not in the right place. So this is a big endeavor, and we've been very happy to partner with the Mistakis Institute to carry on with this project. And these are some of the captures in the Weaselhead that happened. Here's a nice moose. We had a camera near the bridges, and regretfully, we have not captured yet any animals using the corridor. We also continued with our species, our invertebrate calibration to make sure that the invertebrates are a good indicator of the quality of the water in the beaver pond and other areas in the Weaselhead, and this has been carried on as part of our monitoring. We've also been monitoring the erosion in the northeast corner of the park. This is a problem that's been developing since the bridge has been put in, and a lot of high water events. And the hummingbird trail is highly compromised. Some of it has slumped into the river. And in parts where it hasn't slumped into the river, it's quite dangerous because there is some undercutting of the trails. Tanis One Spot, the Tsuut'ina Nation is interested in the work we're doing. We also had the city engineers come and look at what was happening over there, and they agreed that there is a problem developing there. We also had lots of field trips. Again, this was the Halloween field trip, Owling. We also had some canoe trips. We had our annual river cleanup hosted by Paul Finkelman. This year it was in the fall. In the spring it got canceled because of COVID. And Matt has really been pushing forward with us getting together with the iNaturalist group. And if you're interested, this is where you could put all your observations of anything you see, plant, bird, or animal, and email me, president@theweaselhead.com, and I will forward your request to get some information. That's how to log in and join our endeavor with iNaturalist. We also had a bit of a breakthrough with the city. We have asked to formally asked the city to form a partnership with the Weaselhead to do a better job at park management. So there's been one meeting, and it was very well received. We have closer ties with the city to communicate problems in the Weaselhead. We had people from the province. Whitney Isick was there. We had people from the mayor's office. We had people from the different departments, Chris Manderson, and people from Ward 11. And at that meeting, it was mentioned that it would be possible that a memorandum of understanding would probably be in the works in the future, where we would be partners with the city in doing some of the park management. One of the things that really hit home with some of the people that were witnessing some of the pictures that Gary Early took of some of the damage in the Weaselhead. And these are some bicycle ramps, fire pit, and one of the bicycle obstacle courses. And what really, really hit home is that it's not an education issue, it's a question of people abusing, because the first picture on the left is actually a picture from the city, placard from the city asking people to respect the parks being used as one of the jumps in one of their obstacle courses. These weren't kids doing these were people in their mid-20s. So it hit home that there's a problem with abuse in the Weaselhead. Wild Constructs, we had planned a lot of presentations this year, and it all went to a standstill because we cannot have major gatherings. Staffing, we have a lot of new staff, but we also had to say goodbye to one of our long-standing secretary. Pat Prevey has asked us to replace her. She's been working with us for over 20 years. She will be remaining on our boards as to help us out with some of the work we're doing, but she will not be officially on the board anymore. And with many regrets, I must say that we have lost a very, very good friend of nature, and the park in itself. Gus Yaki has left us peacefully. He will be missed. Another thing that we have been pushing forward this year is a Nocturnal Preserve. And this is a long exposure, so that it looks pretty bright, but it was pretty dark, though it was moonlit. We are pursuing the possibility of the park becoming a, what's it called? A night preserve for the clear sky observation. And that concludes the President's Report for 2020.